I've seen really great results using Pinterest in the past, but I also know that things changed on the platform, and that's why I was super excited about today's guest, because I had a ton of questions about Pinterest that I wanted answers on. I'm talking with Kate Ahl, the founder of Simple Pin Media. Kate has been helping businesses discover, learn, and master Pinterest marketing for over 7 years, and she knows what she's talking about. This episode is for you if you're ready to get the most out of Pinterest and really grow your traffic and build your email list. There's so much actionable advice that Kate shares. Get your pen because you're going to want to take notes, and let's get started. Hey there, welcome to the Blissful Biz podcast. I'm your host, Susanne Reiche, here to help yoga and wellness entrepreneurs build a thriving online business. If you're ready to make a bigger impact and earn money online, you are in the right place. Each week you learn about websites, digital products, social media strategies, and what's working now to build your online business. And now let's get started. Hi, Kate. Welcome to the Blissful Biz podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat with you.
I am too. I think, I don't even know if I've talked about Pinterest on the podcast before, so I'm really, really excited about everything that you have to share with us. So why don't we start and you tell us a little bit about what you do, your background.
Yeah. So I actually got started with Pinterest marketing in 2013 when a lot of people were using Facebook at the time, but it had changed a lot of their algorithm, moving away from business pages, basically getting all the traffic to getting none of the traffic because they were moving towards ads. So a lot of people were looking for a new platform that could drive traffic to their website. So I began to dig in to learn how to manage for people and how to really help them see Pinterest as a really valuable marketing arm of their business, not another task, not something to be overwhelmed by. And certainly in 2014, we didn't have the options we have today. So it was a little bit easier. But since then, I've grown an agency over the last 8.5 years to serve hundreds of clients and then teach people how to do Pinterest in a way that really doesn't overwhelm them and that can be added to the fold, but that they can see it as very different than all the other platforms out there, that it is an Instagram and it's not Facebook or TikTok, but that really is in the camp of YouTube and Google with that whole different mindset of how the user approaches it. So we take that perspective when we teach and really hope people can get a lot of value out of that.
I love that. I started using Pinterest, I think, 2016. And basically, I think that's when I learned about it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that especially the last years, there have been so many updates. So I really would love to hear more about that. But, maybe I think a lot of our listeners, they already know about Pinterest and maybe they started already pinning blog posts or creating even pinnable images, but they don't really know where to go from there. So do you have like a little bit like a step-by-step plan or something that you can share with us?
Yeah, we really tell people to have one goal with Pinterest. That's where we tell everybody to start, whether or not you're brand new or maybe you started and you're trying to figure out, like you said, where to go from here. So we tell people really wrap your brain around like why you want to use Pinterest, because that will help you go even further into the distance. So for me, it's to grow my email list because I know that the pinner will move off the platform. So then I start to cater all of my content around that and start to get into this flow of making sure that whatever I'm creating definitely answers the pinner's question and points them towards that solution, whether it's in a blog post or an email list. I would say the number one thing too, for our people who have been on Pinterest for a while, or like you, 2016, things have changed a bunch, is go back into your profile and update it. Make sure your links are right. Make sure your description is good, and look at your boards, because the boards in your profile really tell the Pinterest algorithm how to categorize your content. It's keyword search. So making a sweep through, spending about an hour going through and removing any group boards that you've joined. That was a very popular strategy that we really don't utilize anymore. So kind of stepping away from that, updating the titles of your boards, the descriptions, and then maybe even giving a fresh look to your images. Like, how can they really connect people in that quick, less than a second, and encourage them to click and come to your website? I would say there's another layer too that Pinterest has added: idea pins. This is a new version that's kind of like the hybrid of an Instagram story and an Instagram reel. They don't link out, which means they don't have that same engagement that a standard pin does, but they give a little bit of context about like a micro content, either a step-by-step or a personality piece. So start to engage with those about 1 to twice a week.
Yeah, I started doing that. We want to set that up with my VA to repurpose Instagram Reels as idea pins. Unfortunately, they have to be below 60 seconds. So so I would do the video with the captions before I upload it to Instagram, so it doesn't have the little thumbnail. What's the thumbnail called? Yeah,
the watermark.
Yeah. You think that's a good idea? Is this something that you do with your clients, or how do you use idea pins?
That's a great question, because a lot of people as marketers, we're so stretched thin in content creation and feeling this pull of all the platforms. And what we tell people is repurposing is a great productivity idea, and it could be really good as long as you understand if that Instagram content translates to a pinner content. So we tell people that Instagram is like the bar, Pinterest is like the library. People approach Instagram thinking communally, thinking how can they engage and get to know someone. People approach Pinterest like a library, trying to look for the answer to a question. They're not really interested in community. They're not really interested in conversation. So if your Instagram Reels walk people through a step-by-step, or they give people more information, that can definitely be downloaded, stripped of watermarks, and then uploaded directly to Pinterest as an idea pin. But if it's something that's more like lifestyle or a part of your life, it's lost in translation over on Pinterest because there's no context like we have with Instagram. So yes, you can repurpose, but just be very aware of which ones you're repurposing.
Okay. That makes total sense. So, for a yoga teacher, it could be, for example, when they have created a reel, 60 seconds, where they explain, I don't know, like a breathing exercise or a yoga pose. So they add the caption, and then download it before they post it.
Yes.
And then they can upload it to Pinterest.
Yeah. On our profile on Pinterest, which is pinterest.com/simplepinmedia, you can see a little bit of how we're repurposing some of our Instagram content into idea pins. And it's definitely, like you said, centered around a technique or a breathing exercise. And one really great hack that you can do is go to Pinterest in the search bar and search what it is you just talked about on Instagram, and make sure you're using those keywords that are already there on Pinterest, because then you can just insert that into your description, add your tags in your title, and then you have a greater chance of engaging. Whereas maybe the terms on Instagram might look a little bit different. So you just want to make sure you check the keyword data on Pinterest first.
Okay. So I love repurposing. I love being really efficient with your content. I love starting with one piece of long form content, like a blog post, and then repurposing them into Instagram posts, into real ideas, into little quotes, into, if possible now, idea pins, or of course, Pinterest pins. What are the best practices there? So it used to be like when you had one blog post that we created 3 or 5 different pinnable images for that post. Is that still something that you recommend doing? Or how does it work?
Yeah, that's a great question. We do recommend, I would say, a minimum of 2 at least. That's what I do for my business, 2 to 3 if needed, because they can have different phrases or they can have different stock images in them. So if we were to break down a workflow of, say, a blog post, we would do 2 to 3 standard pin images. And on those pin images, making sure it's super clear with either a quick phrase or a question. And then we would also take the high level thoughts and ideas from that blog post and maybe turn them into an idea pin, which could be anywhere from 5 to 7 slides, one that has an opening slide and a closing slide. It kind of condenses it, but at the end, you can call to action, visit my profile. They go to your profile, click on your link and go to your website. And then if you really wanted to, you can convert also some of those reels into a video pin. That does link actually. Mm-hmm. So you could upload it as a video. Less than 60 seconds is ideal for Pinterest because people don't watch long form on Pinterest anyway. And then click and go to your website. So that's how a good workflow would be as far as, having that, I guess, pillar in your blog post, creating out from there and then kind of making it work for all the platforms.
I love it. All that actionable advice. I know people are going to love that so much. Okay. Another question. Now I kind of lost it. For images.
Yes.
What are the trends there?
I would say number one, it's going to be 2 to 3. So always vertical. They will accept a square image, a 1-to-1, but we don't recommend it. And we have not seen good results with that. So 1000 by 1500 is 2 to 3. Canva, we use Canva like crazy. We love it because it's so easy for people to either buy Pinterest templates. And this is what I recommend for people who don't feel like creating images is their sweet spot. It's not mine. I really struggle with creating images. I feel like it takes way too long. I second guess everything and it comes out looking really ugly in the end anyway. So I like to purchase templates for Canva, put them in there, have my brand colors, make sure you have your logo because any type of image on Pinterest is a chance for brand awareness, a chance to connect the dots of who you are with your brand. So having your logo on there and then having a clear call to action. So something that says either sign up now, download this, join us, or read more. If you put them in the shape of a box too, or have arrows, even though the whole image is clickable, it makes us think that that button is clickable. So that's a good way to drive engagement on those standard pins. And so really just getting into that groove of what works best for you. And then about 3 months later or so, 6 months later, looking back at your analytics and seeing if you see a trend as far as what images tend to get more engagement, what colors, or maybe even statements that are on the image. But we do tell people that if you have inspirational quotes, that's okay for you to use as supplemental, but they won't get a lot of clicks. So if one of your goals is to move people off the platform to a conversion, that really just gets engagement, which is fine for some people. They really want that, but that's not where you would generate a lot of movement.
Yeah. And I think that's like the biggest advantage. That's why we're using Pinterest, because I think it's like the only social media platform that really can help us generate traffic to our website. I mean, it used to work, I think, a little bit better than it does now.
Correct. Absolutely.
But, right. So like in the beginning, everybody was just like, people got crazy traffic and really grew their email list just with Pinterest. It's got a little bit harder, and I think it's fine. People also, of course, when you are on Pinterest, you're probably more, and Pinterest as well probably wants to keep people on their platform. Like Instagram,
that's why they did the
like
idea
Facebook.
pins.
Yes.
Yeah. How can they keep people like they're seeing the rise of TikTok? That was kind of their move to say, okay, how can we keep people here instead of having them move off? But, the pinner is well trained to go get the information that they want.
So what's the role of video on Pinterest? Because, I mean, everywhere else, it's just like 2022 is the year of video, short form video, long form video. And I don't think it's going to change in 2023. So what's going on there with Pinterest? Do you still have a chance to really grow your Pinterest account with just images, or?
Yeah, I think it's got to be a combination of all three, the video, the idea, and the standard pin. We've done some tests here for us, even on my account, where 1 month we just did all standard pins. The next month we did all idea pins. And without that standard pin support, the month we did all idea pins, which is where you would just put that short form video, it was all in the red, arrows down. So that has to be those supplemental of like your standard pins are really your foundation. And then your video pin and your idea pins really build on that. They help give support to it and helps the algorithm. Well, helps you in the algorithm because there's more diversity of pin types going out there. And there might be a user that only engages with idea pins and that's like their favorite form. So then you have an opportunity to get in front of them. So I think video is definitely something that is incorporated into Pinterest. For a long time, pinners didn't like it. It felt like a speed bump, but now they're used to it. But it has to be very much centered around a hack or a tip or an aha moment, not really a let me tell you about my life moment, which can often happen more on Instagram, obviously, because that's where it fits. So definitely want to incorporate it into your strategy. There is one extra layer that Pinterest has added in the last year, and that is Pinterest TV. Now, this is not something the regular marketer can get access to. Think of it more like a streaming version of Pinterest in action. So let's say it would be like a yoga tutorial taught by somebody that Pinterest has pulled in to teach this. They were asking for applications and submissions for a while. So we do see that potential in the future, but that's another layer that we just don't know how pinners. It seems like there's good engagement. Whenever I go to them, you'll see a little TV on your app in the upper right or left. Click on it, and there's lots of engagement happening, which is really fascinating. But
That's
I don't
so
think it's caught on.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I actually just signed up with them for a call with their advertising. And then you get like $100 worth of ads. I thought, yeah, I do that.
Yeah, why not?
I do that and try it out. Always a good idea to not have all your eggs in the Facebook bucket.
100%. Yeah.
Right. I think it happened to me before that my Facebook ad account was blocked. So,
yeah.
And I know a lot of people who had that happen. So you definitely don't want to run your business depending on just one platform. So yeah, I think it's really, really great to also get on Pinterest and really try things out there. Another question, it used to be that to really grow your Pinterest and your boards, you also posted other people's content. So you reshared. I stopped doing that we stopped doing that because I changed my Tailwind account and suddenly we couldn't pin as much. And then I looked at the numbers and said, actually, it's not hurting us. So let's not do that anymore. And so am I right with that?
You are right. Yep, you're right. You are right on the money. Pinterest has changed. In 2018, they actually said it is okay if you don't pin other people's stuff. Really allow the actual pinner, the user, to do the pinning for you. Put your stuff on the platform. Let them amplify it. Don't worry about doing that for other people. The only time I really share it is if it's a colleague that I know and want to support, and I'm happy to pin their content. But no, we pin 100% of our content too and see no change in anything.
Yeah, fascinating. I love how it's always changing. It's also
I know
also a little bit overwhelming, but I give it to them that it's really happening gradually over the years. So if you're listening to this and think, oh my God, another platform where I have to keep up every 3 months, it's a completely new world. That didn't really happen here. No. I've just not been really updating myself or educating myself. Right. That's why I have all those questions. Yeah, but that's really a relief. What about pinning? Do you still recommend is it necessary to use like a paid platform like Tailwind for that? Or does it also work when you just pin with using Pinterest, their own platform scheduling or something?
Yeah, their own platform, their native scheduling tool is very clunky. We don't love it. We don't use it for any of our clients. Our clients tend to prefer either Tailwind or Planoly. And a lot of that is because they're also using it for Instagram. So it's like a dual purpose platform. The reason we like it is the productivity angle and that you can remember you can schedule everything out. So you don't have to remember to pick up your phone and do all this scheduling. We do recommend, obviously, you do idea pins on the platform native. There isn't an idea pin scheduling tool yet, Planoly has a planner for it. So you can plan out all of your idea pins and figure out what days those are going out, but there's no scheduling tool that pushes it out to the platform. So our recommendation is yes, I would not survive without a scheduling tool just because I forget. And one of the biggest keys to Pinterest is consistency. You want to make sure that you're constantly investing in the platform and adding content there. And that builds over time. It's like a snowball. So you don't want to miss out on that opportunity.
Yeah, it's everywhere, right? With Instagram as well, with Reels, you have to now post them in the platform natively. So I used to use Later for Instagram. I don't even use it anymore unless I really have like some promotional posts, but otherwise I try to do only Reels. So it feels like with Pinterest as well, I could just go in the platform and post once a day or something. It's just like part of my 1 hour social media block. So,
you definitely could. I think I would recommend it for people who have a lot of content or they have a lot of backlog that they want to like pull from maybe previous years, or it is seasonal content or something like that they've maybe forgotten about. But I agree with you. I think there's plenty of people that go without a scheduling tool.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're just getting started, it's another expense that's, and that might be stopping people from actually giving Pinterest a try because they are just reluctant to, another tool I have to sign up, right? It's a mindset block sometimes, obviously, but, it shouldn't stop you from just getting started. And I mean, I always tell my students, as soon as you're creating content on a consistent basis, you should get started on Pinterest. If you have really no content, if you don't blog or don't create videos, or then you can probably wait. So, before you really invest into learning and really getting started on Pinterest, because don't try to do everything on every single platform at the same time. Like grow your Instagram, grow your Pinterest, grow your Facebook page, start a Facebook group, start a YouTube channel. No, that's going to be totally overwhelming and crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Don't do too much at once, just one thing at a time.
Okay, so that's been so helpful already. Do you have like your best tips or something, some secret strategies that you can share with us?
I think the secret strategy is just buckle up and go for the long haul, right? A lot of people that we talk with, they invest in Pinterest and 6 weeks later, they feel very frustrated. And so if you know right away, Pinterest is not the feel-good platform for a marketer. Instagram is, because you get likes, you get comments, you get engagement that feels like you're doing something. Pinterest can feel like crickets for a very long time. There's a slight movement. And so we find that people find the most success by going, I am going to invest in this for a year or longer to see how it benefits my business. And those are the people that 6-9 months, they're like, this is actually working. This is going great. I'm going to stick with this investment. And that hands down, that's probably my best piece of advice for anybody is just know that it's not, Instagram, we just talked about this a minute ago. It changes all the time. You can write this or not write this or use this hashtag or shadow banning. Pinterest really doesn't have a lot of that. If you can understand keywords, if you can get really great at your images, and then if you can just be consistent about that, you can really win the day on Pinterest. You can do really well in targeting the person that has a question about what it is you teach or share or have as a product. And so that's why we tell people 6 to 9 months, go for it and have fun with it.
That's such great advice. And yeah, it's definitely true for me. When I started, before I started my marketing business, I had a yoga travel blog and I had a Pinterest account for that. And that was very popular, successful. Obviously, like when you're a yoga teacher or a wellness entrepreneur, you have such a big advantage because that's really what people are looking for, what they're searching for on Pinterest. It's 100% your target audience is on there. I do marketing for yoga teachers. That's such a tiny niche. And I still really I have clients who tell me that they found me on Pinterest like years ago. Yeah.
Very cool.
And they're now in my mastermind, in my high ticket program, right? Actually a few. It's like, okay, I'm going to continue using that. But it started also like when I started that second Pinterest account, it was so slow going.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, we just continue, we just do our things. And, like over the years, it just slowly started growing. And but when you're a yoga teacher and you have great wellness content, yoga content, health content, anything like that, it's your platform.
Yes, absolutely. For sure. And another, I guess it's not really a trick, but it's a great tool is Pinterest has a tool called Trends. If you go to trends.pinterest.com, you can search there to see what are the most popular things people are searching. And you can drill it down right now to the US, the UK, and Canada. And that really allows people to see when people are searching things, what they're searching. And if you're short on ideas, go there. There's a ton of them that you can say like, oh, I can write about that, or I can do a short form idea pin about that. Just let that fuel your creativity and see what the pinner is searching for, because it's definitely not your brand, but it is the solution that your brand provides.
That's amazing. That's a really great tip. I'm definitely going to check that out. So last question. What are you privately searching for on Pinterest most?
Oh, it's varied. I love Pinterest, actually. I would say the latest thing I was searching for recently, it's been a little while, but we were building a sauna in our backyard because we love to do that. So my brother was helping me build it. And so I had a sauna, and actually, this is actually the most recent one, a trip to Portugal. So we were going through and mapping out. And what's great is I have a board I share with my friend who I was going to travel with, and we're both pinning all of our pins to it that we find, both itineraries, locations, where to eat, where to go. So that's what I'm most recently pinning to Pinterest.
I love that. Yes. Oh, it's a good idea. Actually, I should look for some for some Portugal tips as well. Now that
there's a lot, a lot. And there, you know, what's really great is sometimes you on Pinterest as a pinner, sometimes you save things, and sometimes you click on things and you visit them and then you save them to see if there's something you want to. Yeah. And one of the things that this does is it allows you to be a better marketer on Pinterest, because then you're seeing, is this person answering my question or not? How is the experience? And then you take away ideas for your business on how you want to make sure that your customer has a great experience.
I love that. That has been so helpful. Everything. Thank you so much for sharing all your really valuable advice with us. So where can people go to learn more about you and your services?
Yeah, go to simplepinmedia.com. And we also have a shop with our products, simplepinshop.com.
Thank you. And we'll add the links to the show notes, of course. Thank you so much, Kate. It was so nice having you here.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Blissful Biz podcast. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes. This would mean the world to me. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast to never miss a new episode. To learn more about how to work with me one-on-one, my courses and membership, or to get instant access to freebies, workshops, and more, go to susannereiker.com right now. Thanks for tuning in and see you next time.